Hello everyone and welcome to English 1510. This is for a summer semester, 8-week shortened term. You're going to have a couple of things that are going to be slightly different from a regular 16-week course, obviously with the compression of the assignments on here. The one main thing that I want you guys to note at the start of the semester is communication policies. Try to avoid just using student email. I would prefer that we stick to the instant messaging here in D2L. If you have questions or comments there, we have threads in the instant messaging that's right on the platform here that you and I can communicate through. So it's pretty easy to click on that envelope, go to the class list, and just look for Professor Martin or Professor Benjamin Martin on there. There's two different listings on there. Either one will get to me, okay? It'll say Benjamin Martin on there. It'll be the listing under class list. You can message me at any time, and a little bubble like this alerts one will pop up there at the envelope, and I'll be able to see your messaging, and I check that regularly. I don't prefer doing it's noted right here at the top of this. I do not prefer going through having something of the OCC student email, simply because so many students already, again, this term demonstrating that communication is a little difficult for students with email. The subject lines and the things that need to be followed aren't necessarily adhered to. I've gotten a lot of student emails already that are not from their OCC student email accounts, and then some are just responses to announcements that I've sent out to classes, and students are responding to threads. I don't see those, so those get lost in there. And also, when you send things and they don't have a subject line of your name and class and section number, they tend to get overlooked because they can come in and look like a number of other just random emails, including junk that I get at times. So starting point is always the instant messaging up here at the top, and then if we need to communicate via email for OCC because of assignment things or something that I'm working on, or if I need verification from you for a missed week of class or something like that, like a doctor's note, we might switch over to email in there between you and me as an individual student. If you do have to use student email in that instance, use your student email account and include your name, class, section number, and a brief explanation of what you're emailing about in that subject line, okay? Note 2 on here, schedule below is tentative. The tentative schedule up through week 8. Tentative because it's subject to change. If there's any change at any time, I will make you guys aware of it at least a week in advance, as often as I possibly can. Usually there are not many changes in an 8-week semester, with the exception of maybe pushing something back a little bit or dropping one component or another if it becomes unnecessary. But otherwise, in an 8-week, there's not usually a time frame in which I make much of an adjustment. Once writing assignments are underway, the submission of some pre-writing and outlining papers and things will overlap with other writings. Be sure to note those in the assignment schedule. I'll point out the first one that'll be upcoming today. The first one will happen in the week overlapping the memoir final draft with the rhetorical analysis summary and outline, so paper 2, and that will continue on through the rest of the semester with rhetorical analysis and research. There'll be a lot of overlap, so you'll be finalizing one component while starting another. A weekly overview like this one will be launched every Monday by 8 p.m. Typically they're up by 6. Sometimes it can be 6:30 usually, but a lot of times I'm going through some of the responses and some of the feedback things and can have issues actually loading the videos. I don't like to do a preloaded. I like to do a new one every week where I address every class with their individual issues, particularly with anything concerning feedback. So the starting point this week, in week 1, it's pretty straightforward. You have a class introduction discussion board that's open. You can access that by clicking here and going to the discussion board. You would start your own thread. I give you an example of mine here. You don't have to be as extensive as this. Just make sure you touch on the primary points. You start your own thread. You create one that your classmates can read, and your objective for week 1 is to both introduce yourself and then respond to one classmate. So the points for those discussion board forums will always be based off of your posting of your own work plus review someone else's or responding to someone else's. That'll be for this week introduction and when we're reviewing for class postings of assignments. The other things that we have here are the diagnostic essay which is the drop box here on the right. Read through these instructions. This is diagnostic. You're writing a very short piece. It says 2 pages on the syllabus thing. A page, page and a half is just fine. Just make sure that you're covering all the things that are stated here. I want to make sure here that what I'm looking at is your ability to respond to a prompt, read the directions, format in MLA, Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spacing, making sure you have proper indents, heading, title, all that kind of stuff, last name and page number, and that I don't see it in abundance of sentence level issues. If I do see an abundance of sentence level issues, please note these diagnostics are used for the first point of the first writing assignment, but they're also used for me to assess your ability to understand pre-term what the MLA formatting things are and any sentence level issues that I think need to be addressed. If there are sentence level issues, I will make a YTR, your tutoring recommendation statement on your feedback, that will indicate how much tutoring I think that you should use throughout the term. Please note that you guys, everyone in the English 1510 is required to do at least 1 tutoring session with the ASC in the semester. If that's 1 for everyone. You got face-to-face or online, so it doesn't matter to us which way you do it. You can access that through the Academic Support Center. You click on that link under Student Services, go down here to the tutoring schedule. You can click here, and depending on what campus you're by, our home campus is Auburn Hills, but you can use any one of these. The thing is to, whenever you do go through for a draft submission on those so you get a tutoring session, make sure that you tell them to forward me the file for it, the confirmation of it, or give it to you that you can forward to me. Either way, typically they'll email them to me if you guys just let them know that it's for the class. With those, regardless of whether or not you're recommended for one or many through the term, everyone gets extra credit for those, even for the one that's required. So just make sure that's done for the term. Some students I will be recommending you'd use tutoring during all drafting stages depending on the number of sentence level issues I see. Okay, so that is the first 2 things for week 1, your class introduction, your short diagnostic piece, and then the other 2 things are just the FERPA form and the academic honesty. You click on both of those. The form is there to download. I want you to fill it out. Now, when I say filling it out, this form here, all I need you to do is you can download these and write your name in, and then take a picture or scan a picture and upload it. If you don't know how to do that without messing up the file size, then by all means just download the file, type your name in here. You can change the font to some font style to something that looks like a signature. Give your signature, print your name and date, and then just submit it into the Dropbox, okay? So I need the FERPA form done and the academic honesty. Both of those are in separate Dropboxes, separate downloads, okay? The FERPA one is in here, and when you go back to the home page, you'll see academic honesty one is in the next Dropbox right there, okay? Download that form and fill that out. Pretty straightforward for week 1, folks. So this video that I'm reviewing right here will be posted right here, as every week at 8 p.m. I said in here, video will be posted. And after the first week is done, week 2, it'll say week 2 overview next Monday, and a new video will post. And week 1's overview video will be moved right down here to the week 1 in the course schedule and tentative plan of work. All right, I already had this posted up with the course opening textbook information last week for you guys. The main thing is to note that you can get this right through the student library at OCC, but I can work with most of these editions. I think that I usually keep this 2nd, 3rd, and 4th edition reading schedule in here for the 8-week class, and I do use the same book for a 1520, so anybody following me can keep the same book. If you haven't purchased already, make sure you get it right away. Try overnight shipping, but you can find these ones in this regular edition, including brief editions, for $5, $6, $7. I still saw them 2-3 days ago going through, and this was consistent. Actually, less than this, more along these lines, $5 plus shipping. So make sure you get your textbooks right away if you haven't already. Make sure you read through this course opening content information. The course, as it says on here, opens in 2 different sections. I'll be launching primarily weeks 1 through 4 and then 5 through 8. You'll see here that the actual assignment schedule is on here up through week 4 on here, and then on the 5th and on, it says TBA. Those are already pretty much set in stone. I just need to make sure that we're consistent up through this week, so I don't have to make any changes in weeks 4, 5, 6, or 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. You'll note that there are a couple of things that'll get added on, like videos in weeks 6 and 7 that are a little bit different than weeks 1 and 2. But week 1, you got your reading here out of whatever edition. It should be review for most students. And then week 2, you got some chapter things on memoir. Next week, make sure that you're into that reading and actually read the chapter on it. And also note that with the piece that you're doing here, we have the summary and outline one that'll be due at the end of next week. It'll be just one assignment, and then in week 3 we'll start back up with having drafts and discussion boards. Discussion boards are going to function for peer review. After week 1, we're just doing a class introduction. Then weeks 3 and week 6 we'll have some other discussion boards that are for reviewing each other's work in a peer review format. All right. Anything that's on there, anything that's on here listing wise, your course schedule will always be right here in the announcements. Your assignment schedule will always be over here under the calendar. If you don't see it, it's because your upcoming events is closed. Just click on that arrow so it opens up here, and you should see everything in the weeks to come. And as we get towards these two, you'll see the rest of them open up as we get to those ones. You'll also see that the form things on here that show that they're due on those, and you'll see that discussion board things will pop up as well. So while there's this one here, we'll have the memoir one will open up on its date. You'll see discussions. You can access them there through that, or you can go right through this and look at them here on this one. The memoir doesn't show up yet because it doesn't open up until the first week of memoir assignment. All right. The other things that students should make sure they're aware of and are working on here are looking over the content for the course. Make sure you get familiar with all of these different tabs and things that are available. You do have things in student services also, like library settings that you can go through. You have a number of different items here. I will be registering your attendance throughout the term. It's basically based off of your participation in the class. Grades are listed here. You'll see that the grade and the breakdown and their weight are already programmed in. You'll see assignment schedule in accordance with what's open and viewable already. You will also see that more of these will open up as we get to those assignments in the assignment schedule. And under content, make sure that you review your syllabus. There are different things that will pop up throughout the term. Syllabus is something you need to make sure that you're familiar with before the semester starts. It's the student's responsibility to make sure they know their end grade date, the non-attendance date, their last date to drop, and are familiar with the content listed in the syllabus that is contractually obligated between the student and the instructor. Okay? So if you have any questions, obviously let me know, but I look forward to seeing the first submissions on these. I'll get a turnaround on posting grades for those as soon as I can at the end of the week, and then next week we'll start in on the memoir summary and outline. I look forward to working with you guys, and again, welcome to English 1510 at OCC.